pharmaceutical crisis. In Biden's America, there are now 124 medications in short supply. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and blessings be multiplied on all your brethren teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. And shalom to the few aquaf that listen up, subscribe to this word as well. It's Brother Dama Agabar from GMS Los Angeles with another lesson, Lord willing to edify and give you warning from Yahweh Yahweh Shai. All right, as you can see in Biden's America, there are 124 medications in short supply. And this is from, everyday small medications to, very serious, hardcore medications, And if you don't know, man, there's a huge percentage of the population that are hooked on these pharmaceutical drugs, man. There's a lot of people out here that you work with, that you see, in your neighborhoods, that you see at the grocery store, at the bank, that you run across every day that are heavily dependent on these pharmaceutical drugs, man, just to operate and to get through their daily days, man. A lot of these people are battling addiction. A lot of these people are in pain. A lot of these people, have a lot of demons on them, to where they got to pop pills and take medications just to keep just to function on a daily basis, man. So can you imagine when all hell breaks loose in this society and these pharmaceutical drugs are no longer readily available, man? When these people can't get their daily fix, when they can't take their daily, prescribed amount of prescriptions to fight those demons that they have brewing within them, which if they don't take could totally just have them become unhinged and lose it and do all type of fucking, ruthless and ungodly things and, be, not even in their right mind to know what the hell they're doing, but just out here loose on the streets, just, with guns in their hands, knives, cars, and any type of thing that they can use to inflict pain and harm on others because, they can't contain themselves anymore. So when you think about these things, you can see just how great and how crazy it's going to be here in Babylon the Great when all hell breaks loose, man. Which is why, returning unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and repenting and serving our power and our Lord is going to be a very vital piece of, defense you're going to have in your corner, man. Because a lot of these people, man, a lot of these people are just on the brink of losing it, man, of going absolutely crazy. And some of these people, the only thing that's keeping them somewhat stable is these pharmaceutical pills, still being able to have access to alcohol, their recreational drugs, their hardcore drugs, And without these things, man, a lot of these people are going to completely go apeshit. The Lord's going to allow those demons that are brewing within them to go unchecked and to just go out and just do all manner of wickedness and evil. And it's going to be a very, very dark time here in Babylon the Great, man. Because like I said, a lot of these people here are dependent on these pharmaceutical drugs, man. And when these things are no longer easily accessible anymore, man, you're going to see the true nature of a lot of these people show, man. All right, so I'm gonna read this first point, and I'm gonna hop around. Got a couple of precepts, Lord willing, you can be edified, man. But hey, this is the time that we're living in, all right, and this shows you just how bad of a decayed society we're living in, to where you have this many people that are dependent on all these pharmaceutical drugs, man, which is nothing more than a form of sorcery and witchcraft, It says the latest information from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration shows that at the current time, there are 124 different pharmaceutical drug medications in short supply, which, a lot of these things are being orchestrated by these elites because they want to fast forward the collapse of this society, man. And what's another way to fast forward the utter decay and the collapse of this society? Take away the pharmaceutical drugs and the medication that these people are so dependent on, man. It's going to cause when these people are not on these drugs, and a lot of people are not getting their medications and, from insulin to, to Tylenol, to pain pills, to, psychotropic drugs and all these different things, man. A lot of these people are going to resort to killing themselves, man, and also killing others and just going completely utterly crazy, man. Plum loco, man. You see, but these, but this is what these elites want. This is part of the orchestrated plan to usher in this new world order, man. It says basic drugs like Tylenol, serious drugs for treating cancer, and everything in between are becoming increasingly scarce, the government says. So, what do you think is going to happen when all these people who have cancer can't get these serious drugs for treating their cancer? A lot of them are going to eventually die, man. You know? You know? It says, and there is no cure in sight to these mounting shortages, to quote one news outlet, because I think America gets a lot of their drugs from China and from overseas. So when these nations, when America and China get ready to go to war and they fall out, hey, all those drugs that these Chinese supply, they're not going to be coming over here anymore, man. And know what's going to happen too? A lot of these people that may be doing just minor pharmaceutical drugs, when they can't get that, a lot of them are going to resort to doing even harder drugs if they can get their hands on it, like fentanyl, meth, whatever that they can get their hands on to take that edge off, to take away the pain, to take away whatever it is that they're going through. So it's a very, very dark time here in Babylon the Great. It says, since the beginning of the Wan, there have been shortages of everything from toilet paper to car parts to furniture to baby formula. It said the supply chains have been broken for nearly 3 years now. In other words, and the situation is worsening, not getting better, you see. And the average American always thinks that America is always going to be this land just flowing with milk and honey, that things are always going to be readily available, that it's always going to be, that the drugs are always going to flow, the imports are always going to be coming in, and these stores are going to constantly always be open and filled with goods and filled with services, man. But that's not the reality, man. When you look at things and what's really going on around the world, remember you still have this train strike that's about to hit, which is going to eliminate a lot of goods and services from being brought in on train and rail. You still have the supply disruptions. A lot of things from overseas are not coming into the ports and into the harbors. And then you have this diesel shortage. So, when you check the temperature of everything that's going on, man, all signs point towards, great scarcity, great famine. Not only a famine of bread and water, but of pharmaceutical drugs, alcohol, liquor, drugs, whatever it is that these people need in order to cope with their serious issues. And where am I looking for? Here we go. I think it's right here. This is Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. You see? And that's dealing with here in America, all of this easy access to all of these goods and services have been abundant here, for the longest, so the average person with a normalcy mindset, can't fathom the fact that, hey, great scarcity and great the storehouses are going to suddenly be empty. You're not going to have all of this easy access to things that you could have once gotten. And if you do, it's going to come to the point to where if you do have access to these things, they're going to be so fucking expensive and so hard to get that the average person is not going to be able to get it, man. Which is going to do what? It's going to cause a lot of people to, to be invading one another, harming one another. Salakia. All right, Salakia, it's going to kind of be like, when you watch that movie, Contagion, when those people were waiting in line to try to get their dose, their dose for the medicine to heal them of that deadly virus, man. There's a long line and they only had enough supply for a certain amount of people. So everybody that was, outside of that number that they had left had to go home. And what happened in that store? The people absolutely went crazy. They turned that store upside down. that started to take away from those that had, the desperation really sunk in, and people, became instant enemies. And this is the type of shit that's going to happen here in this society when all hell breaks loose. So, you know, we have to be prepared for this, and understand that this is going to be a coming reality. This is going to be a coming reality soon here in Babylon the Great, man. You know, and the majority of our people are not ready because they really don't want to hear these things. When we tell these things, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to have to come to the grips with reality that this thing just might be real with what we're saying. So the only coping mechanism they have is just to be in denial and to say that we're crazy and not that might happen, but not in our lifetime, 20 years from now, 15 years from now. But that's not the reality of it, man. All right. And this is all part of biblical prophecy. This is all part of the great judgment that the Lord is bringing on Babylon the Great and upon the wicked people of this society and 2/3 of our people. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall suddenly be afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Why are they going to fight each other like enemies? Because of the lack of bread, the lack of resources, the lack of necessity. Like I said, the people are going to kill each other because the lack of them not being able to have their pharmaceutical fixes, man. Not having the alcohol to drink, not having something to take their mind off of the harsh and cold and brutal reality that they're living in and facing. See, it says, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You see? So they're going to completely dry this place up of all type of resources and, access to daily basic needs, man. And they're setting it up to where the only way you're going to be able to get some of these things is you're going to have to come to the ones that have it, which is the government, which is, and they're going to require you to take that C-hip, man. They're going to require you to do a particular thing to get these things. You see? And that's why if you don't have faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the stability of, this wisdom and knowledge as a stability to keep you stable and rooted, man, you're going to totally be overcome by this devil and his new world order plans, man. It says the supply chains have been broken for nearly 3 years now. In other words, and the situation is worsening, not getting better. It says, with Christmas just weeks away, some consumers worry that their Chinese-made junk might not arrive on time. Then there is the massive inflation at the grocery store, which is making it more difficult for families to survive, you see? So it's about to become hard to survive and scarce on every level here in Babylon the Great, man. And like we said, we all know it's being manufactured, man, but regardless, your faith needs to be in something outside of this system. And if your trust is in Babylon and in Egypt, man, hey, that's going to be a great shame unto you, man. Because like I said, hey, these devils are going to give you some of the things that you want, but it's going to come at a price. It's going to come with, you're going to have to sacrifice your soul in order to get these things, man. You're going to have to, offer yourself up into this new world order, man. Which is going to be a complete and utter digital slave system with the likes of you people have never seen, man. You see, it says now we have drugstore shortages that for those addicted to pharmaceuticals, which a lot of these people here in America are addicted to these pharmaceuticals, man. That's a fact. And it's getting worse and worse. A lot of these children after the pandemic got hooked on a lot of these pharmaceuticals. Shit, my woman's own son for a hot spell was taking these things, but, he don't take them anymore. But you can only imagine the number of these little children that are hooked on these pharmaceutical drugs that got all stressed out and jacked up and developed mental health disorders during this whole pandemic that are hooked upon these pharmaceuticals, man. So how much more these adults that have real life problems, mortgages and, wives and families and, trying to put food on the table and, it says, now we have drug shortages that for those addicted to pharmaceuticals could mean having to cut the habit cold turkey. And these Americans are not built to cut their habits cold turkey. They're too dependent. They're too, dependent on this system. They're too dependent on, they have too much of a normalcy bias, man. Because a lot of these people out here, are getting their fixes some way or another, whether it's being prescribed by a doctor or whether they're getting it on the streets. It says, how will drug addled Americans supply? Right there. It says, one of the scariest medications in America right now, as we are told, is Adderall. Some people use Adderall to fight narcolepsy, while others take it to recreationally help them focus or study. If Adderall supplies dwindle down to general availability, millions of Americans will be forced to go without their daily fix. And what do you think that's going to do? That's going to turn up them demons within them. That's going to cause them to try to find it and search it out wherever they can. This is going to call women. Some of these women will be out here will sell their body for a hit of Adderall. You'll have guys out here who sell their own mama's TV to get a bump of this Adderall. And that's just Adderall. Imagine these other serious drugs, methamphetamines, a lot of these other drugs that these people are hooked on, man. Shit, even alcohol, bro. Believe it or not, even food, man. Food is basically a fucking drug nowadays. And when the food dry up, these people will do things that they never thought that they would do just to feed themselves or their children. So imagine how much more of these people hooked on these drugs, man. It says medications used to treat cancer are running low. Reported King in Seattle, the rise in RSV with children, along with the return of the flu, have parents struggling to find amoxicillin, Tamiflu, and albuterol. No. It says anesthetics like lidocaine are scarce. Ativan used to control seizures and anxiety is hard to come by. Even everyday over-the-counter OTC treatments such as Tylenol are increasingly tough to find, you see. So you're going to see a lot of these children drop dead and die for not having the basic different, antibiotics to treat their sicknesses, man. You see, and that's why we got to pray that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is with us and our family and our children so that they can be blessed, so that the Lord can bless them to boost their immune systems. The Lord has given us the wisdom and knowledge to use different herbs and natural remedies. But, hey, when things are scarce and these things are not really available, hey, the prayers to Yahweh Shem Yahushua are going to be very vital in that time, to deliver us and our children if they happen to get sick or get a fever during these crazy ass times of scarcity, man. See, but the average person out here who don't have that, the Most High in their corner, are gonna have to struggle through these things, man. It says according, let me get this precept real fast. Which is why hey man, Wilbur is very, very, very important, man. It says Isaiah 65:11, it says, but ye are they that forsake Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that slaki. This is 12. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. You see, because part of all of these things that's happening, bringing in this new world order and all this chaos, is part of that slaughter, man. And a lot of people are going to be slaughtered and are going to die and be caught up in this, opening act into this NWO. It says, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes and did choose that wherein I delighted not. You see, and that's dealing with 2/3 of our people. We're out there prophesying. We're out there telling them these things are coming. The Lord is stretching out his hand and opening up the gates of mercy and for people to repent and to answer the call and return unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but they don't want to do it because they don't want to change, because they like darkness rather than light. They really believe in their heart of hearts that this society and the way that they're living is always going to be here, that Esau is always going to rule, America is always going to be here, it's always going to be flowing with plenty, everything is going to be flowing. Wickedness is always going to be, they're always going to be able to party and bullshit and get on TikTok and say whatever they want to say, comment on whatever they want to comment, eat what they want to eat, say what they want to say, do what they want to do with no end in sight, man. Hey, so therefore, when the Lord brings that judgment, these niggas are going to suffer. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Yeah, like I said, all of this scarcity of food that's coming, when all this medication dries up, when all things are tight and there's no readily availability for you jakes to get your daily basic essentials, hey, the Lord's going he gonna leave you out here to be hungry. He's gonna leave you out here to be totally tormented and left alone with your own demons and everything, and the bed that you made for yourself. And he said, what? Behold, but my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right, because your trust in Egypt is going to be unto your shame and unto your an embarrassment unto you, man. It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow and of sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. You see, and that's what's going to happen. Shh. And that's what's going to happen. Because hey, the Lord gave you the opportunity to, to be under His good graces, and to be saved and delivered from these calamities and different bad times that are coming upon this earth. You see? So you're gonna be out here sorrowing and howling like a goddamn wolf, man. You're gonna be looking, you trust in Egypt, so you're gonna be looking for that fix. You're gonna be looking for the, the times when things was when the wine was flowing, when the pills was popping, when your wickedness was flourishing. You're gonna be looking for those times when all hell is breaking loose, but guess what? They're gonna be ended, and you're gonna be trying to run into Esau and try to go to Zaddy, but he ain't gonna be there to answer your call. He's not gonna be there to give you your fix. He's not gonna be able to give you housing and food stamps and Section 8 and free Medicaid and free, medicine and pills to pop. He ain't gonna be nowhere to be found, man. But for the men of the Lord, hey, when we call and pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, guess what? He's going to answer our calls. He's going to be there for us. He's going to make sure that we're taken care of. He's going to make sure that we're fed and our children are protected, that our immune systems are going to be boosted, man. That we're going to be delivered from all hell that's going to be going on out here. While the rest of you are going to be out here suffering and caught up in a bad situation, man. It says, according to Steve Filjaka, the chief pharmacy officer the University of Washington Medicine, says he worries the United States does not have an adequate drug manufacturing sector. Most drugs for America are made in India or China. That's what I said earlier, in case you were not aware. And India, it's going to come to the point to where relationships with India and China are not so great right now. So therefore, they ain't going to be shipping in this dope that you people need. It says sometimes it's raw materials. Fajalka says about the reason behind these shortages. Sometimes it's a business decision. Some of these medications just aren't worth it for certain companies to make anymore. There are manufacturing issues. We don't have that many manufacturing plants in the U.S. See, because America has outsourced everything, to these different countries just so that they can get cheap labor instead of paying you Americans a working wage and an honest wage, to where you can work and make these things and build wealth and have decent jobs to do it, man. So it shows that the America don't give a fuck about you people, man. They rather go get cheap labor instead of paying you a working wage and keep this country flourishing and busting and booming. It says there's also a shortage of some medications related to the falsy flu, according to the FDA. The agency says it continues to take steps to monitor the supply chain, but there is not necessarily anything that can be done to fix these ongoing problems. The drug shortage staff within the FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research has asked manufacturers to evaluate their entire supply chain and any components their entire supply, including active pharmaceutical. Go somewhere. It says, including active pharmaceutical ingredients, finished dose forms, and any components that may be impacted in any area of the supply chain due to the blah, blah, blah. I'm going to jump down and see. Manufacturers provide FDA most drug shortage information. The agency works closely with them to prevent blah, 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 which the FDA is a piece of shit organization, all right? They're all brought and paid for by these elites, and they're doing the bidding of these elites, man. So, they're working hand in glove with these damn places, man. It says it turns out that the vast majority of American supply of ibuprofen, hydrocortisone, acetaminophen, penicillin, heparin, and antibiotics come from communist China, which has a zero lockdown policy in place that results in manufacturing shutdowns every time even just one person tests positive. You see, so a lot of these, basic, these necessary medicines, man, and pharmaceuticals are coming out of China, which China's been locked down for a long ass time. So they're not bringing that shit over here, man, which is why it's very important for brothers, and sisters out there to take care of yourselves and try to eat as healthy as you can. Stop eating fast food, man. Now, I'm not saying you should just, I'm not telling you got to eat perfect diet and all that shit, but I highly recommend you cook damn near every day and eat out every once in a while. And taking herbs and drink teas and exercise and drink a lot of water and try to do everything that you can to try to keep your body from getting sick because, hey, because if you do get sick, you pray that you get little minor sniffles and colds here, where you can take natural antibiotics like honey and garlic, things of that nature, natural remedies to just fight off these little minor sicknesses that you may get. All right, you don't want to have to be a situation to where you got something serious going on and you have to go to Esau and you try to go get some of his medicine, and the shit that he gonna prescribe you, they don't have it because it's not in supply. If you brothers can, which I'm gonna do myself within the next coming days, is get you a bunch of garlic and some honey and make you put it together and put it in a jar and seal it and throw it in the cabinet and let it just ferment for months and months. Which that's a natural immune booster, a very powerful antibiotic, and a cure all for a lot of things. If you taking care of yourselves and working out and eating healthy as you possibly can within this fucked up situation. You don't really need a lot of things to treat the little, sicknesses that you do get for you and your household and your family, man. So we just got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And at the end of the day, the most important insurance policy we have is trusting and following unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, because everything else outside of here is some straight bullshit, man. And as you can see, it's not going to get any better inside of this man's society, man. We know that it's crumbling, it's falling fast, and things about to take a turn for the worse here in Babylon the Great. So we got to make sure that we on point and we're doing what we got to do as far as Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is concerned. Did I have any more precepts? I know I didn't pack that many. Oh yeah, I wanted to get this one. I was supposed to read it earlier, but I forgot. Yeah, dealing with when all hell breaks loose and these people ain't getting their fix, man, you're gonna see a lot of suicide, a lot of death, a lot of violence, a lot of armed robberies, and a lot of these people are going to be on the verge of just not giving a fuck, man. It's going to be like a permanent Black Friday vibe out here, and these people are going to be out here totally in desperation. Like I read, it says friends are going to fight one another like enemies because of the lack of goods, man. And this is Matthew 24:13. It says, but he that shall no. This is Matthew 24:12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. And it's going to get real cold out here, literally, cold, cold in the weather-wise, and cold for the love of these people not having no love for one another, which this society has been on that tip for a long time. People don't give a fuck about one another. There's no real sense of community here in Babylon the Great. Neighbors don't really know each other. People don't give a fuck about one another. People are have a lot of hatred, and there are a lot of people who are isolated from one another. People don't communicate naturally like they used to communicate, So, that's why it's very important to have a strong network of brethren and people that you truly trust in these times that are coming. But these people out here are going to be goddamn barbarians and full of evil spirits and demons and violent and ready to kill, man. So, got to make sure that we, going to be on the right side of all of this hell when it comes, man. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, you're ratified. Call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, putting the spirit of me into this lesson. To the next one, Shalom. Shit.